All right, today we're jumping into a pretty fascinating and, let's be honest, provocative idea about how the world is really run. It's a perspective that suggests everything we see on the global stage, well, it might just be an elaborate act. So let's get right into it. So let me start by asking you this. It's the core question from the source material we're looking at today. What if our world leaders, the people we see on the news every day, aren't actually calling the shots? What if they're more like actors, just playing a role?
And that's really the heart of what we're unpacking. This whole viewpoint frames global politics not as a series of random events, but as one big, elaborate performance. A carefully scripted show put on for all of us, the global audience.
To really get our heads around this, you have to start with the cast. I mean, every performance has its actors, right? So who are the main players in this grand production? Well, this viewpoint suggests it's the very people we've been taught to believe are in charge.
This quote pretty much lays the groundwork for the whole argument. And that one word in there is key, employed. Think about that. It implies that these leaders, no matter what country they're from, aren't acting on their own. Instead, they've been hired to play a specific part for the public.
And here's where you can really see the massive shift in perspective. On one side, you've got how most of us see things. World leaders are powerful people pushing their own agendas. But on the other side, you've got this view, that they're just performers, reading lines from a script that somebody else wrote. So what does this performance actually look like? The source uses this fantastic metaphor, a fake wrestling match. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. You've got the rivalries, the dramatic conflicts, the bad guys and the good guys. This view suggests it's all part of the show, staged to keep us all hooked, and maybe a little distracted.
Okay, so if the world leaders are just the actors, then it begs the obvious question, right? Who wrote the script? Let's try to pull back the curtain a little and see who this perspective claims is really pulling the strings. According to the source, there's this unseen group, a kind of hidden elite, that holds the real power and the incredible wealth. These aren't the faces you see on magazine covers. Nope. They operate from what the text calls very comfortable positions, basically directing the whole show from behind the scenes. And this is where we get to the central mystery of this whole idea. If this group already has all the power and control, why go to all the trouble of staging this huge, complicated global drama? What could possibly be their motivation? The answer, at least according to this source, is actually pretty simple. It's fear. It's not about them wanting to gain more power. It's about a deep, profound terror of losing the power, wealth, and control they already have. So from this viewpoint, the whole performance is basically a defensive strategy.
This all brings us to the final act of this grand play, where we start to see the real consequences. Because the stakes aren't just high for this hidden group, they're incredibly high for every single one of us.
I think this metaphor from the source is really powerful. It cuts through all the noise. It suggests that no matter what fake wrestling matches on TV, no matter what conflicts we see, at the end of the day, every country, every person, we're all in the same boat. Our fates are tied together.
And from inside that boat, the source says there are only two real options. The first one is to cooperate. Everybody sits down, follows the script, and keeps the boat steady. The second option? Chaos. Someone panics, they go off script, and they risk tipping the entire boat over, taking everyone down with them.
And that really is the ultimate point of this whole perspective. The whole performance of politics isn't just for show. It's a carefully managed system. It's designed to prevent the kind of mass panic that could sink the entire boat. It's a high-stakes strategy to keep things just the way they are.
So this entire way of looking at the world leaves us with one final and kind of unsettling question. If global stability really does hang in the balance, depending on everyone playing their part, what happens if one of the main actors decides to just go off script? It's definitely a compelling thought to end on.